Secretary of War lights a fire under some fat asses. James O'Keefe is on fire exposing corruption. Elon's on fire trying to cancel Netflix. And the government is on fire in a shutdown. The Week in Review on the David Rutherford Show. Booyah. What's up, everybody? Instructor Rut here, back on the microphone for the end of the week. And I'll tell you what, I am super fired up, most importantly, because the Secretary of War, right, Mr. Pete Hegseth, did something this week that I've been waiting to see for longer than the last administration, even before Trump's first administration, all the way back into the Obama administration. And that was to light a fire under the asses of our leading generals, admirals, and all the other punks up there, right?
From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: warfighting. Preparing for war and preparing to win. Unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit. Not because we want war. No one here wants war. But it's because we love peace. We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver it. Our number one job, of course, is to be strong so that we can prevent war in the first place. The president talks about it all the time. It's called peace through strength. And as history teaches us, the only people who actually deserve peace are those who are willing to wage war to defend it.
Listen, one of the things that drives me nuts is we're so bloated and top heavy for these officers. We have more flag officers now than we did during World War II. And what does that tell you? That the bureaucracy at DOD has been overwhelmed by these people just sitting around, camping out, making money, writing books, and prepping to have these insane opportunities in all the defense intelligence or the defense companies, all the think tanks, right? McKinsey and all these people, bringing these people in at 7 figures right out of a government after what? 30 plus years of failed engagements, failed warfare. Now, listen, all you GWAT people out there, I love you. The ones that were in the trenches, both soft guys, non-soft guys, people in the motor pool, people serving in the FAC. All of you, I love you to death. And I hope you know that. And the reason is because you were in the shit. You were in the trenches. You were eating the crap. You were bathing in the nasty shit flake in the stand. You were in the hot box. You were there doing it while all these SOBs were up on Capitol Hill at the Pentagon getting fat. That's my favorite part of the whole thing, man. All you fat asses, your games are up, right? No more of this DEI, no more of the trans nonsense. All of you, go pack sand, you're out, period. And if you don't like it, go get bent. Now, all I could think when I heard this, this beautiful speech from Pete, all I could see was like the next PT test come, DOD-wide, Jordy, and all these fat ass admirals and generals and captains and majors and all this, right? And their little PT outfits and their little safety belts around, right? And they get up on that pull-up bar and they can't do one damn pull-up, man. Not one damn pull-up. And then they're out of here, right? They just start going, hey, here's your orders. Thanks for coming, right?
Ooh, didn't they say you have to PT every duty day or something like that?
Every day. That's the standard, man. And I mean, I don't know what the hell happened. Every day when we went into command, right? When we weren't on the road training, from 7:30 to 9 every damn day you're PTing. Now for us, that was like, that's awesome. That's our go time. Unless you're doing new guy surf passage in 15 to 20 foot surf and everybody on the berm seeing if you're going to drown to death. Like that wasn't so cool, but everything else was all right. Then you finish PT, right? You get back, you go, you shit, shower, shave, you go to the gut truck, you get a little breakfast burrito bomb, you down that, you stand at muster, you have your pinch of Copenhagen and you start your day. And that's the teams, right? And I love that. Imagine what's going on at these random commands all over the world with no standards, no PT testing, no regular PT. In fact, I'm seeing right now, right, the interwebs are flooded with all these Army personnel and Navy and all this. Like, I'm not doing any damn PT tests. I'm not. And then I even love the fact that Pete came out and said, all you people who have your no shave chits, guess what? You're out of here. You're done. And all the soft guys are like, we get to keep them, you know. But guess what? You're shaving too.
Can you imagine if you just said back in your day, it sounds like they used to do this and then I'm just a civilian. I don't know this, but it sounds like the PT's fallen off or something. Can you imagine back in the day, you would be like, I'm not doing the PT test.
I would have gotten a beat down. Dude, let me tell you how strict it was at SEAL Team 1. So I'm over in Afghanistan, right? And for some bizarre reason, they're like, all right, there's a general, you know, the SOCOM general's in town. He's in Afghanistan. He's going to head out. We want to give attaboys like exceptional guy or whatever. And me and this comm guy got noted, right? And so our task unit commander looks at us and then goes, all right, you guys go shave up. And we had to bring a starched desert uniform, right? To the stand. And I'm like, and by then, like my neck beard was bigger than my up beard, right? That's how burly I was. Like I look like a Chechen, right? And I'm like, sir, like, you're going to make me shave and go to this thing? Yeah, absolutely. This is Team 1. This is what we do. So I went and shaved this big, beautiful beard that I had grown, right? And got in my dress uniform. We show up first, obviously, and we're sitting there and we're like, all right, everybody's going to come in. The first guys that come in were the Air Force guys, and they were pretty, you know, kind of raggedy hair, a little scruff going, but looked like they had maybe shaved in the last couple weeks, right? Which wearing their sterile camis, all this. Then the SF guys came in, right? Beards, like wearing like T-shirts and, basically their uniforms that were a mess. And then this was the funniest one, dude. And then it was 2 combat controllers that had been there since the invasion came in, and they're wearing cutoff BDUs and Hawaiian shirts, right? And their beards look like ZZ Top beards. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I got my coin and shook the dude's hand, like, and I walk out of there and I looked at my buddy and I'm like, I had to shave my damn beard for this damn coin. Are you kidding me right now? So,
oh my gosh.
When I tell you, like, inspections, like the whole deal, man, at Team 1, like that is coming back. And, you know, there's a certain thing about, you know, military bearing, right? The way people end up following orders under duress is that you train them. And if there's no military bearing, then guess what? Under duress, those people are going to be like, I'm not doing that. Because there's no consequence for denying a basic order. And military bearing is a fundamental concept that keeps a military in fight readiness, right? Because if you have people who start all of a sudden, the slack grows and grows and grows and grows. And next thing you know, you have people like General Milley calling China before Trump comes into office and saying, hey, don't worry about it. We got this. You know, just call me if you need anything. That's what happened. And that's what happened in over the last 8 years of the madness we ensured, is that those standards of military bearing, rank, command and control all deteriorated. And so they bring bad. And so, why don't you play that section for Pete where he calls out the fat asses?
Yep.
It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
Man, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. And it had to happen. All of you who think that that's not nice, you go keep being a fatty, because guess what? I mean, you don't have to pick up a 200-pound man in full kit and run him 300 meters, or, and you're like, wow, nobody in the motor pool or on a ship has to do that. USS Cole, right? How many motor pools got bombed? How many bases got bombed? And the next one that goes could be massive, right? Even if you're on an aircraft carrier with drone technology, everybody's under threat now. So I don't want to hear it. Military bearing, back in line. I love it. Way to go. Now, the other funny part about this, Jordy, if you could, pull up the video where Trump comes out and tries to make him laugh and nobody says anything. Play that right now.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very, don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank. There goes your future. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War. I know Pete spoke about it. He gave a great speech, I thought. Great speech. I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. No, I hate it. I almost fired him. I said, you can't, I don't want to go on after that.
Dude, I swear to God, I second what Joe Rogan says, and that dude is a comedian. I swear to God, he was trolling them through his whole speech, basically looking at him like he does. He looks over his little podium thing, and he kind of gives this little like this, and then he goes, he's basically saying, hey, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town, and either you do what I tell you to do or you're done, right? And then I'm going to pull your clearance, and you're not going to get your cush job, and then all this stuff's going to, and that was like a wake-up call. Like a lot of people I talked to were, oh, sweet, he's going to go in, he's going to fire 30% of these flag officers, clean it out so we can start coming from the bottom and bring in better, officers up that chain. But I give him props that he didn't do that. He put the warning out. He shot across the bow, and I thought that was hilarious. So,
so all he has to do is say you have to run, and that'll get the job done.
That's it. That's it. You got to pass a PT test like every other person you're in command of.
Oh, that's one way to clear it out.
Oh, they're gone. They're all gone because nobody wants
that bad. I don't know. I'm not in it. Is it that bad?
It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Dude. You walk on bases, and the Navy is pathetic, man. The Navy just dropped. Oh my God, it's pathetic. I have buddies that are still out there, and you see people walking around, that probably couldn't do 10 push-ups. Probably couldn't run a mile without stopping, right?
Really?
Oh God, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And so, it's over. And that's what I love. You put that fire, like we used to have this great award in Buds, and it was called the Fire in the Gut Award. There was the honor man, guy who didn't fail a thing, passed everything, best in the class, honor man. But then they gave the best award to the guy that just had heart and grit and like honor and just grinded. And so there's a special place with that whole mentality of the fire in the gut. So when he come out and he's lighting fire under these fat asses, man, I love that so much. It's not even funny. Now I know I'm going to, my kids are going to see this and they're going to be like, but Dad, you're pretty fat yourself right now. And I hear you. So I'm going to get in shape to do the PT test. What was it? It was like,
you're not even in. You're not even in, but you still feel the fat shaming.
What are you talking about, man? My daughters eviscerate me on a regular basis. I got to do this. So
they crush me too. It's all right.
All right. I love it. All right. Second one. Here we go. How about, oh boy, James O'Keefe. Holy cow. If let me just put out a public service message for you right now. If you work in the government at any level, if you work for a big company that is considered corrupt or whatever, if you work in the healthcare community, if you work in insurance, if you work at an investment management, if you work at any of these places that people are pissed off about, and some hot girl comes up to you and wants to have a drink with you, man, you got to be able to check twice, right? What's going on? Because this dude is slaying it right now. I wonder how big his army of honeypot investigators. What do you think, Gory? Can we grok that? Is that an available number?
I didn't even think about that. You'd have to run like a whole campaign of like finding candidates, like lead generation, like bringing in the girls, interview them. You know, probably have to do. You have to do the Secretary of War standards, no fatties. Like you just gotta get them squared away.
Honeypot's the oldest trick in the book, man, and so
it works too,
dude. My favorite one, right, is this guy Jordan Jefferson. Jordan Jefferson is a top-level assistant, or what do you call it? People work for congressmen and senators. I forget what they're all. That's my brain injury right there. Anyways, he was top assistant for Senator Aide. That's right, for Senator Markey of Massachusetts. And one of O'Keefe's honeypots got him in multiple interviews admitting that he had control of Senator Markey's Autopen and that everybody in Congress uses an Autopen. Everybody. And apparently there is a Autopen Act out there that vividly says your Autopen cannot be used unless you are aware and have given proper authorization for this. Like it's in black and white in this thing.
One for senator, yeah. For my senator, we do Autopen.
Do you have to like tell him exactly what's on it?
I do it because I respect your signature. But nobody else. Some people don't do like ask them. I've never heard anybody ask, can I use the Autopen? I mean, it's easy to blame your staff because like nobody knows who they are. Even if you did sign it, be like, oh, I didn't know. Lie, you get out of jail free card.
But this guy's basically saying, yeah, I use it all the time. And the girl was like, well, like, does he tell you can? He's like, sometimes, yeah. A lot of times, like, he's so busy, he can't sign. The dude was like, he was so emphatic. He goes, it's impossible for him to sign everything. He's too busy, right? Like some senator who's been in Congress for decade plus is sitting around on his desk, just like, no, I can't sign anything. I can't sign anything because I got to read this bill.
Let me see how long it takes real quick. Hold on.
Yeah. There you go.
That wasn't that long, dude. 3 seconds.
So, and we already knew that, the House Oversight Committee has been doing a deep dive. And what was it? Like 80% of Biden's aides have all pleaded the fifth under inquiry about their Autopen usage for the president. How many? 8,000 plus pardons, pardoned his son, pardoned Fauci, pardoned his family members, right?
Dude.
So now you got to go back and go, all right, well, how big is this auto problem? I think we need to revoke the Autopen thing, hands down. And if Mike Johnson had a sack at all, that's what would be happening. But as we've seen for, the Republican control of Congress over since day one, not much is going on over there, right? And so, you start to think about, all right, what are the ramifications of an Autopen that's being wielded by somebody else? Well, I think we now know that it could be anything. Anything could be signed off. Any type of acceptance of some type of allocation or some bill or some whatever. This is just happening because these people in charge are too, in quotations, busy to sign their own shit, right? So, man, Autopen, in my opinion, should be nixed. All right. The next one where O'Keefe was on fire was this one, Jordy. This one was huge. And the response to this, why don't you play the little clip right there that we got of DOJ investigative prosecutor Glenn Prager openly admitting that the whole Epstein thing is known, that he's a CIA asset, that the files are real, that he interviewed all of the Florida girls that were raped and butchered. Why don't you play that for me right now?
It's not talked about yet, but it's soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA. I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people.
Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax of the case, like a hoax or something. I mean, come on, you know it's not a hoax. He's been on the plane, many times. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids.
I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton. And it can't be said for others. While the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Dude, I see that. I hear that. And I'll tell you what I do. I go, well, all right then. Well, that seems like it's pretty conclusive. If this guy's been in the DOJ for 16 years, he was like an elite investigator. He basically said, yeah, the whole thing's true.
Got honeypotted.
Honeypotted.
Dude.
Bad. Old boy got honeypotted in an airport with a follow-up dinner afterwards.
I was in the Phoenix airport getting honeypotted, dude.
You know what I mean? She saw like a patch on his backpack that was identified him as like he worked for the government and stuff. And she's like, target acquired.
Oh,
unbuttoned her blouse a little bit. Oh, hi, you want a drink? Yeah, it just crushed this dude. Well, my favorite, or not favorite, it's pretty pathetic, but Jordy, can you do me a favor and can you read the DOJ response for me based on that video coming out?
Yes, I can. Let me pull it up right now. Why did that disappear? What happened? Here it is.
Well, dude, tech will get you everything.
Yeah, seriously. The Department of Justice official statement. This individual worked at the Department of Justice as a program analyst over 15 years ago. He has no understanding of or access to the underlying facts in this investigation. His statements should not be considered accurate. It is disgusting that someone would further exploit victims of sexual abuse by fabricating stories for their personal honeypot benefits. I added the honeypot, but
yeah, thank you for that. That was your poetic justice there. Let me tell you what: admit nothing, deny everything, and make counter accusations. I learned that in SOF. I learned that in Blackwater, and I definitely learned that sucker at the CIA. So what do we have going on here, right? What I have is we have probably the most successful citizen journalist army that's ever existed, working with James O'Keefe in his phenomenal effort to expose corruption at the highest level. Now, we still haven't gotten answers for dozens of the stories he's broken. But the biggest one ever, in my opinion, was the exposure of the Act Blue corruption, where, little old grandma Betty Sue outside of Baltimore, had secretly given $135,000 over 2 years to Act Blue. And then when James O'Keefe goes up and said, ma'am, did you donate that? Oh, yes, I did. And how much did you give them over the last, 2 years, ma'am? Oh, about $12. I'm on a fixed income. And, I just really believe in them. Okay. So you didn't give $125,000? Oh, good heavens. No, that's weird. All right. And all these stories have come out that they believe it's foreign investors. Nothing, crickets, chirp, right? No DOJ investigation on that. Okay. Second, right? The other one was we found out from a senior level BlackRock, senior VP, that a U.S. senator can cost as low as $10,000 campaign to get what you want out of them. That was another biggie.
That's and then
oh, dude, people are cheap, right? People are cheap. People who are too dumb to figure out how to insider trade, right? They're just going to take the flat bribes.
Yeah.
So, and then the other one was the exposure of the pharmaceutical companies. They had a couple senior scientists basically said, we had no idea what we were in these. The testing was horrible. And that's when he basically got run out of Project Veritas. That's some similar thing happened to Tucker getting fired, all that. That's the big one. I'm telling you, the most catastrophic situation in human history will be, mark my words, the COVID leak, that whole thing, all what happened afterwards, all that's combined. It's all together. I'm convinced. Rut, are you becoming a conspiracy theorist? It's kind of hard to say it's theory anymore, but don't even get me started. Maybe next week I'll talk about the Tina Peters X site that released a 4-hour or 30-minute deposition of a guy who worked for Smartmatic, a coder who basically said, oh yeah, Dominion machines, the code, the operating code, they can all be overturned all over the world. That's a whole nother one. I'll get to that maybe next week. All right. So what do we want to see now? What we need to see is all of you keep pressing on this Epstein thing. All right. There are literally hundreds of victims all over the place that were sold to other powerful people. And we need to know, right? Thomas Massey essentially exposed one banker, and he said there's a music star, an actor, highest level politician, talked about 20 names he's seen that are part of this whole thing. So, hey, keep pushing against this. This is one of the core points that will, if we don't get answers on this, then, we're going to have to rattle the cage a little bit more. All right. Let's move to the reverse cancellation process that's taking place right now. And Elon trying to burn Netflix house down as we speak, man.
I think he did.
Holy cow. Well, so what the whole thing was, somebody posted that there are multiple children's shows on Netflix that are pushing trans ideology in their shows. And these are not hidden away. They're in the front, in the kids stuff.
I'm trans, Norma. And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like a whole new place. I can just be Barney. And I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier.
My kids have all graduated on to, their Friends are in Friends right now, which is awesome. And
Friends is still a thing?
Oh God, huge, man. Still huge.
Wow.
Did you know my brother was in an episode of Friends?
What?
Yeah, Dr. Drake Ramore. He was a doctor in an episode. I forget who was in the hospital.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Anyways, so what came out, this dude posted this, and Elon Musk is got on the bandwagon and wants to cancel Netflix. Now, Jordy, this is the power of that son of a gun right there, and the power of the ex-army, right? Would you post the stock drop for yesterday, I think it was.
Yep. Boom.
Sweet Jesus.
Fell off a cliff.
Sweet Jesus.
It's like Thanos. You can just poke and just
it goes and it drops out. So now there's this cancel Netflix army that's going big right now. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, trans issue. This is what it is. But I think it's a little bit more competitive in that. My theory is, I believe that the recent advancement of Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle, one of the most richest men in the world, he actually had the title a couple weeks ago, and then Elon took it back this week and whatever. But Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, he and his son recently purchased Paramount Plus and all the streaming platforms that go with that. And then they've got a beeline on owning 50% of TikTok. So they will be the majority stake owners of TikTok. Now, that's some heavy control of the media, the mainstream media. What's fascinating to me is as X continues to grow and capture eyes and usage, it's now the number one app, I think. Where are they in apps in the world? Are they the number one app in the world right now?
I don't know, but we're crushing on X lately, dude. Go follow us.
Dude, yeah, please, if you want, sign up for the show at D Rutherford Show on X, and it's at David Rutherford Show on TikTok and Instagram. YouTube, it's the David Rutherford Show. Both those places we're exploding right now, and it's thanks to you. We can't thank you enough. Please give us a like, subscribe, and a comment. But the thing we really want you to do is just share some cool one. Like we had Superbad on the other day and Eddie, and man, those things are getting shared. Your glorious clippage out there, Jordy. You are the master of masters in this, and I thank you.
Dude,
love you, brother. We're crushing on that. So please, you can find every one of our full shows on X. We'd prefer you watch it there or on YouTube but if you don't want YouTube, we're cool with that. But we are trying to grow there.
So X is ranked number 1 in the news category on iOS among news apps.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So you have this power battle for content taking place. And I think that's what's going on. And Elon's like, yo, dude, you're not cool. You're nefarious. I don't dig you. I don't like you. So I'm going to call you out and I'm going to tank your stock.
You probably said like, hey, man, you're not cool.
Here's another thing that probably provoked this. It's not just competition, although billionaires, it's all about who's got the BDE, right?
Yeah.
But would you play the clip of Larry Ellison basically telling us that in the future, everybody will be wearing body cams. We essentially already have tracking mechanisms and listening devices, right? And you ought to get a Faraday bag, by the way. Everybody should have their own Faraday bag. What's that one company online on Instagram? I forget what. I really love those guys. I think they're making great products. Go get a Faraday bag, put that little sucker in there. You're off the grid, right? But play that clip for Larry Ellison, where he basically saying every human being will have their own body cam. And because of that, everybody will be on their best behaviors.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. All right, I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video.
Dude.
Well, we like good behavior. Why are you against good behavior, right?
Dude.
No, sure. You know what the line is? You know what the line is?
What is
it? Why are you afraid if you have nothing to hide?
That's right. That's right.
The line. That's the bar.
If you got nothing, why can't they be oversight? Why can't they shove a rectal camera up my butt all the time? Why can't I do a strip search? Why can't I have my biometrics in 30 European countries mandatory? My fingerprint, eye biometrics. Are you kidding me? As I broke the news to my kids, we're planning on taking like a cool vacation for Chloe's graduation and maybe going to a place in Europe. And I was like, all right, Europe's out. And they're like, why?
Dude, no, don't go to Europe, dude. Don't go to Europe. Dude, this is going to make the Patriot Act look like a little puppy.
Oh, bro, what if Superbad's right? What if that actually goes down and all of a sudden we have a massive terrorist threat in the country? Patriot Act 4.0, we're going to have mandatory, digital bank, currency, digital IDs like over in Europe they're doing right now, Switzerland and England, right? And it's going to be comprehensive surveillance. That's what they want. You have to realize that's what they want, right? So this guy, listen, I don't have anything personal about the people who work at these places. All right. God bless you. There's a ton of Netflix content I love to watch. In particular, this weird fascination for the psychodramas, right? Those are funny to me. Not funny, but it's fascinating to me, right? But, here's what I'm not about. I'm not about programming to induce trans ideology in young kids. It's not appropriate, right? It's just not there. And that's not what we want. So Netflix, I'd do yourself a favor, change, man, because these people are pissed and they keep getting pissed over and over. Why? Because of all this nonsense that people in power are thrusting down people's throats. And that gets me to what? That gets me to the old government shutdown. Heck it, everything else is on fire. Let's just light the government up right now. You know what I mean? So
let's go.
Jordy,
I mean, what's even going to happen? You know,
Jordy, I want you to tell me, what's your theory? Why did the government shut down?
I am not going to give a good theory, but I just think that it's a classic thing of it's a money grab. People want to, on the certain side, want to make some more money, want to keep their programs going to fund their lifestyles. Once they get some pushback from that, they flip it into a moral argument of like, why do you want to kill old people? And then they can't talk to people.
They'll kill your grandma, right? You don't put your
just like
mask on, you're going to kill your grandma. All right. What I believe it is, and what people are saying, and I watched Hakeem Jeffries get grilled on MSNBC this week, and one of the things he said is they said, well, the Republican Party is saying, all you guys want to do is fund illegal immigration health care. You want to give every illegal immigrant health care. And he's like, that's an absolute lie. And to a certain degree, it was true because the amendments in there basically were saying we want to fund the asylum seekers, all the other people that have been granted temporary status in the United States, right? Give them free health care, something like $1 trillion or something crazy, right? And so what happens is, and this is the hidden effects, and let's just pick one dynamic of the result in this. And this thing's been going on for decades now. So Jordy, I had Jordy pull up healthcare rise costs for emergency medicine. And what did we do? We did Baltimore.
2019.
Yep.
From 2019 to 2025, we looked up the increase in the cost of emergency room visits in several different cities around the country. And this is going to be a per patient per visit. So one person goes to the emergency room one time. This is what it costs and what has been the increase during that 6-year time period. So a few of these, Baltimore, Maryland, about $1,600 to $2,100. It's about a $493 increase. Boston, $2,800 to $3,600. Chicago, $2,200 to $2,800. Minneapolis, $2,200 to $2,800. Keeps going. Los Angeles was the biggest, $3,300 to $4,300. It's about $1,000 increase per visit.
That's each person that walks in. Can you look up how many illegals used the Los Angeles emergency medicine system last year? 2024. All right. Here's what you got to think about, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you cold-hearted SOB, Rut. Although my audience, and they're like, yeah, go, Rut. Get him after him. For all you liberals that might come and check me out, I'm happy to have you here. I want you here. I want you to listen. I'm willing to listen to you. But here's the deal, all right? You give access, you let all these people in, they have healthcare needs every day. Many of these people haven't taken a solid poo in their entire lives, right? Because they don't have clean water, they don't have clean, food, all this stuff. So they come in, and what do they immediately do? Well, I don't have any teeth, I've got all these problems. I'm going to go to the ER, and I'm going to get healthcare that way. And so every time they go in, the hospital, they let them in, they service them. But what happens? How do they bill it? They send the bill to the insurance company. Insurance like, we're not paying for that. Then they send the bill where? Then they send the bill to where? They send it to your local municipality, your state and local costs, right? And so what do the states and local municipalities go? We don't have that in our budget. We don't have that there. I mean, hell, California's running a massive deficit, some $80+ billion right now, a ton of money. And LA, I think, has got a pretty decent deficit as well, too. So they go in, they use this healthcare. Guess who's going to pay for it? You are, right? They go in, they get health services, you pay for it. Just like it always happens to taxpayers. We get stiffed with the bill because politicians want to buy votes or give votes to people that eventually will have the whole thing. And it's also funny that this comes out as this political ploy because there are a lot of people out there screaming that this is actually an infight between AOC and Schumer. I saw my coverage was all over the place yesterday that basically AOC is going to go and primary Schumer, get him out, and then she's going to be the head of the Democrats in the Senate. Imagine that. Little old bartender. Oh, little old bartender, AOC from a wealthy family up in New England, right, is going to become the leading Democrat in the Senate. Holy cow. And this is all while Mandani or whatever the dude is going to take over and run New York City into the ground.
Did you see his communist video? Like public control of these different buildings and stuff?
Awesome. It's awesome, dude. I love it. We're going to see, like, there is a battle brewing in, because the one thing that you don't mess with in New York City, and I'll tell you this, one of my best friends in the whole world, Mark, is, big real estate in the city, knows everybody who runs real estate. When you start coming after those people and their buildings, you got a war on your hands, guaranteed. So
don't mess with their money, dude.
Don't mess with people's money in real estate. All right. All right. So the other thing, I think, you got this infighting. Everybody's trying to emerge as the front runner. And then all of a sudden, you also have what? You have these dynamic kinetic raids taking place. I just saw one 2 days ago on X in Chicago. They raided an entire apartment complex. They actually fast roped down on the top of the building and went from the top down, doing some CAG stuff on these people, man. Like outside, holding corners, the whole thing. Man, that's what's taking place. So all of these people, right, their whole grift is being destroyed. And what else is being destroyed? Their voting block, right? Because the radical ideology of that coalition, which constitutes the Democratic Party, has been shattered as a result of losing males, right? Both Hispanic and African-American males, black males. So they were counting on all these illegals. They're going to give them citizenship, man. Then they become voters for at least a while until they eradicate everything, all the back and forth, all these purple states. So that's taking place, right? And, their argument is like, you have no heart. These people, a government wants them here. They've given them asylum. They deserve free health care. And they don't care what's going to happen to you. They don't care about your bank account. They don't care about what you're paying in insurance. They don't care about what you're paying in medical. They don't care about what you're paying in car insurance, right? Accidents are going through the roof, right? I saw another story about CDV, what are the driver's license for big rigs. There are thousands of these that have been given without even names on the licenses, just given away all over the country. So what happens when all those people start getting in wrecks all over? What happens that, right? The insurance companies for the trucking industries go through the roof. And then where does that transfer of costs get piled? Onto your goods and services. Just like China's taxing us now too. Oh, you're going to revenue tax us? Well, we're going to do it to you. It won't work a long time for them because they're in a financial crisis themselves. But that's yet to be seen, right? Are the tariffs going to work? All right. So there is a government shutdown. And, my favorite thing was I think there was a bipartisan effort to put in and say, well, you know what should happen as everybody else loses their salary? We should absolutely stop paying the Congress people too, the Senate and the Congress. They shouldn't get their salaries if, little Betty Bo park ranger out in Wyoming didn't get paid. You shouldn't get paid either. And I hope that happens.
That makes sense.
Yeah, right. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter anyway because, they're all doing insider trading. So they're going to get rich no matter what. All right. Now, here's the other point. And this is just a side note on this as I'm, people are getting fired up. The one thing I just want to end on this with is there was a story that was exposed that the Des Moines Independent Superintendent of Schools, Ian Roberts, was discovered to be illegally in the country, who was a fugitive from not adhering to his removal order. And he had gotten this through 2 headhunter recruiting firms and he actually has no doctoral degree from Morgan State in Baltimore. So the question becomes, we have gotten to a place in this country where crazy people, both sides, are funding things and allowing people who are completely illegal to be in charge of our children. Now's the time to start ratcheting it up, man. If you're in Des Moines and you're not hammering the snot out of your local city council, your mayor, your state officials to prosecute the headhunter firms, to prosecute the school board and commission, to prosecute whoever signed on it. And when I mean prosecute, no one's going to jail. Strip them of their jobs, fire them. And if you do have any, strange inclination to give that town or that place a call, give them a call. We're going to have the Des Moines School Board number in our notes on this one. All right, Jordy? And I want all of you, and I know my crew isn't big, but that's all right. We're tight. We're a tribe. But I want to start getting you guys activated a little bit, I want us to just start. And all we're going to do is we're just going to call. And I want you to call and call and call, right? And if you figure out, hey, Jordy, are there any apps that can just put a rotate on your cell phone to just call, it picks up, it starts over again?
Bro, we need a bot farm.
Dude, I don't want a bot farm.
That's what we need.
We need real people bitching, though. Bot farms, we don't want that, because then as soon as you do that, your entire argument's bent. Right?
Well, you said you wanted like an auto call thing.
No. Just sit there like you're eating your cheese curds, right? And you're drinking, your light beer, and just, for 10 minutes a day, just give me 20 minutes of your time a day. You can still have your Netflix psychodrama stuff going on over the side, but just give me 20 minutes. Call the Des Moines superintendent and the school board just 20 minutes a day for the next 3 days and tell them you want the heads to roll. All right? Just do that for me.
While you're watching the Netflix trans cartoons, just dial the number.
No.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, don't watch that. And then if you want, just like in your Netflix, say, pull it down now or I'm leaving. Give them the ultimatum,
There you go.
They're like, Rut, are you canceling your net? If I canceled Netflix in my house, right, I would be eviscerated. What I do with my children is I see something, I said, hey, by the way, this is what's available. This is what's out there. You have a choice not to watch it, not support it, but you have to know this is what's out there. And this is what people are trying to get you to watch. This is what people are trying to get you to believe. And so we reinforce our value system, our faith, and the whole thing. So that's the way. All right. Government shutdown. Dude, what? That week on fire, bro. Wouldn't you say?
Dude, closed for business. It's just weird. Now, I feel like every week is a crazy week. And it just doesn't stop. Like before, you'd have, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe more than that now, 10 years ago, you'd have like, man, remember that one week in 2014 that was just crazy? Now it's like every week is just on fire. It's just, it's nuts.
I think it just happens throughout history and society. But here's the deal. This is what I believe, and I want you to do. I want you to listen to this. And I'm going to do a show. I'm working on one right now called The Hierarchy of Suffering. And we're going to talk about this. It's going to be a good one, dude. You're going to love it. I went through
at the top is the military officers doing PT tests.
That's right. That's awesome. All right. Here's the deal. You have the decision of whether or not you can see all this madness, right? And get freaked out and whatever. I was just with some friends I was up speaking up in Michigan the last couple of days and was staying with some really close friends. And one of my friends was just like, hey man, are the cities safe after, watching the super bad thing? And I said, yeah, they are, because most of these cities, guess what? They're surging. They have a high federal presence and they're doing, and I know the counterterrorism unit is full force. I trust Joe Kent. So they're going after this. They're not sitting on their laurels. They're not blowing it off. They're out there doing it, right? You gotta have some faith. You can also keep your head on a swivel, have good essay, but I believe that they're doing a good job, right? I believe that I trust Joe Kent, I trust Tulsi Gabbard, that they're going to go out there and they're going to get it done. So don't get caught up. Look at all that stuff and then look at your beautiful children. Look at all that stuff and then hang out with your friends. Look at all that stuff and break bread with the people you love most. Don't let it get to you. right? Because inside of you is the strength that you need to combat that tsunami of information, to make sense of it, deal with it, compartmentalize it, and then go about your life, which is awesome, by the way. We still live in the best damn country on the planet by far. By far. And I'm telling you, I travel the country every year, all the way, all four corners, all over the place. I talk to thousands of people. And the reality is our country is badass. And you got to believe that. But what it requires a little 20-minute dial to tune people up every now and then, to participate with all the other things that we're trying to do and clean this corruption up, clean all the nasty up, clean it going up. If we're going to have a fighting shot, man, you got to lean into your face, stand up for what you believe in, and make a difference. All right.
Yeah, man. Hey, when you listen to this episode, for the listeners out there, I have a little recommendation. When you listen to a week in review, you learn all the things that's going on that week. You feel a little freaked out. Go back, listen to, bookmark, download, save our last episode with Eddie Gallagher, and he will get your head back on straight, handling how to handle all the craziness. To be aware, to be prepared. It's all good, but also to chill out, spend time with your family, be a dad, be a mom, just live your life. Still.
I love that dude so much.
Good reset.
He's the best. There's reset every day, right? So we ought to I remember when, we made t-shirts. The Wizard made a t-shirt for them, and it was a free Eddie t-shirt. Now we got to make one that says, listen to Eddie, right? And, and with his big old beard and his knee brace and all that. I love you, Eddie. You're the man, dude. Keep listening. All right. Before we wrap this up, again, give us a like, a share, a follow, share it. Mostly that's what we want. And then start watching on X and YouTube and share that around too, man. We're really growing. We're starting to pop a little bit more. We're covering some great topics. We're really happy to be under Buck and Clay, under their podcast network and on the Premier Network with iHeartMedia. We're really thankful for them, everything they've done. Also, we got this cool thing I never really promoted. It's the David Rutherford Show t-shirt that we made.
Yeah.
And on it, it's got the flashbang of truth, and it's got like this old army instructional diagram of a dude pulling the pin on a flashbang, throwing it out, and it says bang BTV EL no delay the DR show, where you can follow us on the front, and then on the front pocket you've got the flashbang right there. It's awesome. All you got to do is go to davidrutherford.com. You can go to the store. We've got that, a couple of our t-shirts, hats, books of mine for sale, our kids book, adult book. You can pre-order my fiction book called The Poet Warrior that's coming out soon. And then also obviously go to our courses and sign up and take one of the 3 awesome courses, Embrace Fear or Forging Self-Confidence or Live the Team Life, in order to help you get fired up, get motivated, get that flashbang in your hair to go after that negative insurgency, get that little motivation in order to tackle the tsunami of madness out there. All right. Thank you, Jordy. Love you, brother. Thanks to my wife, my children, and Jesus Christ above all else. God bless you. Love you. Hoo-yah.